So you want to go 5-0 in the MUTmas draft event? Well, you're watching the right video. Let me show you how to do just that. Now, so family, and welcome back to another Madden 25 Ultimate Team video. Hope you watching this one are having a wonderful start to your day, and without further ado, let's get it started. Now, as we pop on over to the MUTmas draft event, I've got 3 sections of tips I'm going to be showing you throughout this video. The first one is going to be simple. It's going to be going through and giving you some advice when it comes to drafting your team, what players you need, what players you want to avoid, and what positions you want. Then number 2, I'll show you the exact plays and strategies you're going to want to follow to win these games as quickly as possible. And number 3, we'll talk about some potential glitches / methods you need to know to ensure A, your wins are tracking, and B, potentially you could lose a game without it tracking. We'll yap about that at the end. All right, first things first, the draft. I'm not going to lie, this is actually pretty fun. We've got a MUTmas draft token that I'm going to be inserting right here into this event. I got this one for coming through and winning like 5 or 4 games last time I played this. And the first and potentially most important part of this is picking your playbook. Now, before going through and picking your playbook, there's one thing I really suggest you guys do. Go on over to a website called huddle.gg. I'm going to leave it linked in the description. I'll actually leave this link in the description. And what this is going to do is show you exactly what's inside of every single playbook without needing to go through and spend hours watching YouTube videos to try and find exactly what's inside. And really, the playbook you're going to want to optimize for is likely your offensive book. The ones that are starred right here are the best books in this game. So New England Patriots offense right here is particularly good. If we take a look, there's bunch Y flex. These are basically the formations that are most overpowered in this game. And if you want to keep it simple, if you see a playbook that's starred in yellow, you should take it. If you guys want to go in depth and you want to click around and see exactly what's inside of each book, you can absolutely do that as well. Me personally though, we'll go Patriots offense. From what I saw, it looked like it was solid, and again, it was starred. I'm not the best player in the world at this game, so I don't really mind just picking the starred playbook. All right, now let's talk strategy and let's talk about what you guys need to know. Now, in my personal opinion, I would go through and draft as many corners and safeties as possible, and then on offense, I'm really going through and just trying to get one good running back. This Derrick Henry card has literally won me games over and over and over again in this event, so I'm going through, I'm taking a running back when possible. We get Randy Moss right here. If there's only offensive cards, you're probably going to want to go highest speed player, really regardless of position, so we'll take Randy right here. But on defense, it is critical you are taking corners and safety. So on offense, you're really going through and picking the highest speed players. I would recommend you get a running back. On defense, it's corners and it's safeties. We're going to take Champ Bailey because on defense, I will show you my scheme a little bit later, but you're going to want to have good corners and safeties. Now we're going to get Jesse Bates right here. Even though this Fred Warner card is a little bit better, we're taking Jesse Bates. Again, take secondary members as frequently as possible. You're not going to want to miss out on those cards. Offensive line round isn't really the most important. If you're taking an offensive lineman, I would suggest going right or left tackle. That's probably going to be the most impactful position you can pick up. Then moving on, we're going to take the Zach Ertz card right here. Not a very good round in round number 6. We do need some more corners. We do need some more safeties, and we're going to get Kayshawn Nixon. That's actually not a bad card right here. Absolutely take your corners whenever possible. Round number 7, we're going to go through and probably take the Kevin Byard. No, we'll probably go Taylor Rapp because we don't have a strong safety quite yet. And honestly, it's just easier to go through and take the strong safety because you can't go through and really make changes to your lineup screen in this event. So we'll take Taylor Rapp. All right, getting into one of the final rounds, it is the QB round. I'm going to take Lamar Jackson. I do quite like the Joe Burrow card. It's kind of up to personal preference as to what quarterback you want to take. Me personally, will get a bit of speed in Lamar, but realistically, I'm probably sitting in the pocket majority of the game. So actually, maybe I'm going to go Brady. Yeah, on second thought, I'm going to go Brady. I don't really need a quarterback with any mobility. And final round is going to be showing us a Darrelle Revis cornerback card. So the cornerback group is really solid, right? Like we have 3 good corners, 2 good safeties. That's exactly what you need. If you can get 3 good corners and 2 good safeties, you can play this mode properly. Okay, so that's the draft. Now we're chilling. Now let's talk about what you guys want to do to win these games as quickly as possible. Now on offense, what I am calling mid blitz. It is this play on the screen. I will show you it. I believe it's in basically every single defensive playbook. I am calling that on every single play. I'm going to have 3 good corners on the field and 2 good safeties on the field. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to be green dogging on my opponent's running back. Now the way that works is pretty simple. You're basically going to be the user defender who is in charge of covering your opponent's running back. So whoever's in man coverage on your opponent's running back, it's likely going to be a safety. That's going to be your player. Now, if the opponent's running back stays in the block, you have 2 options. You can either go through and blitz him and try and take the running back out, which will essentially give you a free rusher, or you can go through and drop your player in his zone and just run in the middle of the field and try and take away whatever possible. Now, if the running back goes on a route, you're probably going to have to guard him unless you want to bait your opponent, but that's really what I like doing on defense. Then on offense, it's kind of going to be up to you as to how you guys want to play this. Me personally, I really enjoy running the football. If you got a playbook which has the scheme you like in it, absolutely go through and just run what you like on off. If you have a very similar scheme as to what you personally run, I would absolutely do that. But for me personally, running the football has been easy, it's been mistake free, and it's put me in a situation where people really just can't tackle that Derrick Henry. If you take Derrick Henry, man, people just can't tackle him. Then finally, a lot of this game is also clock management. So the final thing you're gonna have to think about a little bit as you're coming through and playing this is just have an eye on the clock and know if, say for example, you're in a good situation, you're moving the football down the field, it's close to the end of the second half, I would personally just milk that as much as possible. You don't want to give your opponent possessions because yes, it's actually hard to play defense. So if you go through, you run mid blitz the way that I recommend you run it, which is pressed and shaded over top, you run the football successfully on offense, and you have good clock management, you're gonna win a lot of these games. Now the cherry on top are these final two tips, because there's a couple tips right here that are kind of glitchy that I want you guys to know about. Now the first one is pretty simple, but it's to play at peak times. You're gonna want to play this event when there's as many bad players playing it as possible. And what time is that the case? Well, that's likely the case between 3 o'clock Eastern time and 8 o'clock Eastern time. Past that, it's likely people that are more sweats that are playing this game. So if you're playing within that allocation of time, you're realistically going to match up with someone who's likely not as good. Just because when you look at the clientele and the people that are playing the game at that time of day, those are typically going to be the most casual players who are coming back from school, coming back from work, and that's likely going to give you the best matchup possible. Now, additionally, this game has no elo, so you're basically just going to get matched up with someone at random, and playing at the right times is going to ensure that you're likely to get matched up with someone who's theoretically worse at the game. Now, the final tip you need to know is the glitch, which seems to be happening to a ton of people, where your games just will not track. You'll play them and they won't track. And I believe the only way that's happening in this event, I could be wrong, is if the game goes all the way to the finish line. So if you're in a game and you're losing, I would honestly recommend you take it to the finish line, just because there's a chance that the game might not track. Now, if you force the rage quit every single time, for me, it has tracked and it's given me the win. If my opponent quit out, if I quit out, it gave me the loss. But the only time where it hasn't tracked properly has been when the game goes to its completion. So if you want to try and take advantage of that, if you're losing and you want to just wait until the end of the game, you could do that, because there's a chance that you might not get credit with the L. And that actually did happen to me once. I one time got to the end of the game and lost and it didn't credit, and then I one time got to the end of the game and won and it didn't credit. So it seems like for some reason that's the only situation where this will arise. If you want to try and take advantage, absolutely you can. We're gonna get a Gridiron Guardian right here, 81 overall true standards. Now yeah, those are the tips you really need to know to go 5-0 in this event. If you follow everything I showed you, you apply all of my teachings, you draft the proper team, you run the proper scheme, you know exactly what playbook you're getting into, and you know these other couple tips when it comes to playing at the right time, as well as going through and just getting to the end of a game if you're losing, that is going to give you the best chance possible to go 5-0. Now past that, I can't actually play the game for you and get you these wins, but if you follow these tips, I am telling you, it's going to give you the best percentage chance and the best chance possible to go through and win these games and eventually go 5-0. I will be grinding this mode a little bit more, and I'll probably make a video again on Sunday trying to get my final 5th win if we're able to have some luck in it. I'm going to play this a couple times off camera right now, so we're going to wrap this video up. That's going to do it for me. If you enjoyed, drop a like, and until next time, I'm out. Love y'all. See ya. Use code SWIFT on Underdog. Peace.